Today, I'm going to teach you how to make the most money, the fastest amount of gold, how you can make it very quickly, very easily on a fresh start server. This is data from alpha, from beta, from the original launch of the game. All of these methods are tried and true in many other MMORPGs, and they definitely will work for fresh start servers. Let's get right into it. Now, before I tell you the methods to make the most money in the most reasonable amount of time, and for the long term, let's talk about what not to do. Alright, first off, you should not power level gathering, and let me tell you why. Every single RM tier that I know that is going to be playing on the Fresh Start servers will all have dedicated teams to maxing out gathering as fast as possible, and then they are going to camp these gathering nodes for the first several months of the Fresh Start. So what this means is that if you want to be a master miner and mine orichalcum as soon as possible, you're going to compete with all of the RM tiers that will be doing this constantly, with teams of people sharing accounts, and eventually bots that will be camping the zones. This even happened on the original launch of the game. By the second day, there were people that already had the ability to mine orichalcum, and it's actually much faster now to level gathering than it used to be on launch. So if you are purely focused on being the first guy on the server to mine orichalcum, so are several hundred other people whose livelihood depends on it, and they've got it routed out, they've got it super planned out, completely min-maxed to the point where they're going to be more efficient than you. There's no point to even try to compete, and even then, the only market for these higher tier materials early on will be guilds, and most of the guilds will have these RM tiers within their ranks anyway, so there's just don't power level gathering, okay? Secondly, do not hoard materials, okay? I know a lot of people, you're going to be having a lot of random junk that you're going to be finding in just random chests, dungeons, and, you know, mob drops and whatnot. Do not hold on to these for later. Do not save your materials. The reason why is because of inflation and deflation. This game it deflates in value. Everything that you have now, people will be more willing to pay for early on because they want to power level their crafting. They want to speed run quests that require materials. So, if you sell these early and often, you will make much more coin than if you hold on to them months down the line, because months down the line there will be less buyers, the market will be more saturated, and there will be less gold to go around. Because everyone's going to be questing, they're going to have a surplus of gold, so they're going to spend much more gold now on objects than later. So if you hoard materials, you are not doing yourself a good service, you are actually losing money. And that also brings me to power leveling crafting, which you should absolutely not do unless you have a massive guild backing you up. Like, if you are in a big guild and you are the main guild's bag crafter, then by all means power level your crafting up. That's totally fine. You'll make plenty of profit by, you know, selling bags or whatever it is that you are specialized in on crafting. But if you're a solo player or you just have a small group of people that you play with, do not power level crafting. The cost at this point in the game is far too much, and it's going to put you very, very far behind. This also leads into the next topic of do not donate to your guild to own territory unless you are in the inner circle or you're an officer. A lot of guilds, especially early on in the original launch of the game, what they did was they did a lot of recruiting before the servers went up, and then what they did was they got all their members to donate all the gold that they had so they could quickly buy territories. And then later on, they would kick out the members, and you're basically just out gold. You're not getting compensated. Amazon won't compensate you for being scammed or anything of the sort. Also, most guilds did not compensate their members at all. Okay, yeah, if you're an inner circle or you're an officer of the guild, absolutely donate to the guild, right? But if you're just some guy that joined a guild like a week ago for the fresh start, do not give away your money. That money is going to make you more money, and you need as much money as possible to do the methods I'm going to share with you later on in the video. Next up would be questing, which almost... Okay, here's the thing, right? If you think that questing is the fastest way to make gold, you're massively mistaken. By all means, quest if you want to level up and play the game, that's totally fine. However, questing is not the end-all, be-all to making gold. It can be for a few quests. Some quests are very lucrative. However, most Your time is spent better doing other activities. If your main goal in this game is to make money as fast and as early as possible, questing will slow that down. And then finally, also, do not focus too much on chest farming. This is where you get a lot of people together, you go to an elite zone, and you loot all the chests. This is not the way to make money. This is not the way to make fast and early money. This will not secure your financial future on these fresh start servers, unless you happen to get insanely lucky and pull, like, trophy materials or something, which is, I'm going to tell you right now, there are people that farm chests every day for months on end before they get a single drop. All right, so unless you're very lucky, this is not going to be your main money maker, and you should do other things for money. I'm going to explain. All right, first off, let's talk about long-term investing, long-term money making, and then after that, I'm going to tell you the short-term, the quick and easy bucks that you can make, the fast gold that you'll make early on in the early part of the server's life, so you can afford these things. Okay, first off, once you have, this is when you have enough gold where you can buy and spend, without breaking the bank, okay? Long term will make you more money, of course, over time than the short term. So we're going over it first. Buy out 1 penny materials and hoard them. Let me tell you what this is and what this means. If you are shopping for oil in the market and you notice that oil is 1 penny, all right, buy out all of these, because what happens is when the bots stop farming the oil, or when someone needs to power level furnishing, they're going to be buying out all of the oil. You need to wait for this to happen, and then whenever it does happen and you notice that the oil on the market has risen to like $1.50, then you can list your 1 penny oils for even $1, and that's a 100 times your return of your original investment. And let's say that, it may take a few months for the prices to go up or whatever. If you ever decide you want to power level furnishing, well, guess what? You just have all the oil you need for a penny each. It's never a bad idea to buy out things that are 1 penny if they can be used for other things. Very early on, trophy materials will not be selling for 500,000 gold, okay? They're actually going to be much cheaper, maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000, or, well, okay, maybe they've never reached a 500,000. They did at one point on one of my dead servers, but that was a long time ago. Okay, so what I'm saying is that early on, the extremely rare crafting materials will not have the same value that they will have on an established long-term server. And so, in this case, you should buy them early on now, and then hold on to them because they will rise in value later. This is the same for every MMORPG. You also need to take advantage of botted and duped goods. Be very wary of what's on the market and who is listing what for how long and how much. If you notice that, like, rugged or leather scraps or whatever are going for a penny each, then you know it's being massively botted or massively farmed by an exploiter, okay? Sometimes on these fresh start servers, or just in general, if you put 20 people in a bear cave, it will infinitely spawn bears every second, which will allow these guildies to farm leather, essentially, insanely fast. Like, I'm talking, 10,000 leather a minute or something, okay? So if you notice something on the market is going weird with prices, like they've just suddenly dropped down to very low amounts, you need to take advantage of this and buy them out, because at some point, it will no longer be available or it will be patched. Remember the cat caves where there was instantly respawning cats, and cat eyes were going for literal pennies because they didn't have a use in the game anyway? They fixed the spawn rate, and then they gave cat eyes an amazing use for gypsum, and so cat eyes became like $5 each. So imagine if you bought 10,000 cat eyes at a penny each and then resold them for 5 each. That is an insane flip, which you should always be doing. Now, another thing too is desperate sellers. Say someone is power leveling their bag crafting, and they need to sell their bag at cost so that they can have enough money to continue crafting, which is something that I did when I started New World. Is I would just spam in the chat, hey, I have this bag, here it is, like on the very first day. I'm selling it at cost, okay? Basically, you're paying for what I paid for to make the bag. And people would be like, oh, yeah. I'll buy it, 2,000 coins, right? Because it would cost me 2,000 coins to craft. And so they would buy my bag, and then they would go list it on the market for 10,000. And then it would sell later that day, because I was in a rush to level up my crafting as fast as possible, whereas they played the long term, and they made 5 times their initial 2,000 investment, and made 10,000 off of my desperation to power level as fast as possible. So if you see this, if you see items listed in the world chat that you know people are selling at cost, buy them up immediately, because you will always be able to flip those for a huge profit, okay? Now, late game, late long term, you need to invest in a very high mining gathering set with all the loot luck and the return rates and all that stuff, because one of the most efficient ways to make money in the mid game, this is like 3 to 4 months after the server has been alive, is by mining or a chalcum and getting those rare drops. So you need to focus on that especially, all right? And if you don't like mining, you can always focus on harvesting or you know, skinning or whatever. Just focus on one type of gathering and make sure that you have the best possible gear for it, because this will allow you, for the next point, to farm at 4 in the morning when there are the least amount of players online for the most highest return rates. This is going to be your solid long-term money-making guide that will make you more money faster than anything else in the game. Now let's talk some short-term, very fast ways to make money, okay? If you notice something is massively undercut on the market, you need to buy it immediately and then relist it for, you know, 1 penny less than the current price. So let me explain what this is. Let's say air motes are going for $2.50 on the market, and then some idiot takes up like 100 air motes and lists them for $1.25, basically 50% off the current market price. Buy out all of those air motes at $1.25 and then relist them at $2.49. And what this will do is you've basically almost nearly doubled your money for just a few clicks. And people will buy the air motes, okay? But this also applies basically everything that is in massive need. Don't buy rare materials massively undercut, because they may take too long to sell. You're going to have to undercut everyone else also trying to sell the same thing. Only do fast-moving things that people need for crafting. Now, with that also said, only buy on weekdays. Do not ever shop on the markets on the weekends. During the weekday is when things are the cheapest. But also you can take advantage of this by selling only on weekends. Hoard everything that you've gathered, if you can, and only sell them on the weekends, and you will maximize your profits, okay? Now, I also recommend that you just sell every single thing you loot. And when you open chests, kill mobs, you know, pick up loot, whatever, you do dungeons, you get some random gems and whatnot. Every little loot bag you open, sell everything. Every single thing you should be constantly selling. Your buy orders, or you can do 100 buy orders, or I'm sorry, you can do 100 sell orders. You should be maxing these out constantly, and if things aren't selling or someone has undercut you, then delist them and then relist them every single time you can. Your storages should be as nearly as empty as possible. The only reason you should have anything in storage is that if you're the guild's craftsman, if you only play this game for crafting, or if you are waiting for sell orders to expire or sell before you can list more goods. In the early game, in the fresh start, you should not be holding on to materials, because everything will become cheaper over time. You also should be looting everything you see. If it's on the ground and you can pick it up, and it's worth money, pick it up. I don't care if you're doing quests or power leveling. If there's a dead animal, skin it. If there's plants on the ground, pick them up. If there's a whole bunch of corn in a cornfield, pick up all the damn corn, okay? Because that's basically free money. You also need to know the top farm spots for every resource, because if you notice a slump in the market or a shortage in the market, you need to stop what the hell you're doing. If you're doing a corrupted portal as seen on the screen, but for some reason someone in your Discord is like, whoa, bro, there's no broccoli on the market, and broccoli's going for 20 right now, oh my god. You need to teleport immediately to the best broccoli fields in the game, which I've got videos for on my channel of all the best farm spots in the game for every resource. So you can check out my channel. There's a playlist. You can watch them all. It's fine. And stop what you're doing immediately and go farm those resources and then list them in the market. If you want, overlist them. List the broccolis for 50. Someone might buy them. If they don't, people might undercut you for 49, 48, 47, and then you've just set the market price for broccoli. Of course, someone might come along and list broccoli for like $5, which, if you want to really control the broccoli market and you know you're the only one farming the major broccoli spots, then you could buy those out and relist them too. Now, that's some advanced flipping techniques. It can pay off, and sometimes it can cost you. It's a huge gamble. I did it whenever servers started to die. This is more of a, if people quit the game and your server population drops to like the low hundreds, then you can use your massive amounts of wealth and riches to control markets. However, if you aren't in a guild that gets lots of taxes, and they are changing the way that territory owners get money, so this might be less prevalent, it can be harder to control a market. But this is not a video about controlling markets and market manipulation. This is how to make the most money as fast as possible. And if you sell everything you pick up as early as possible, and you can put in a lot of hours early on your fresh start, you're going to be rolling in the dough big time, because everything is going to sell for way, way more than it will 1 or 2 months down the line. But because you made that early money, you can then invest that early money into things that will sell for much more than they currently will 2 months down the line, 4 months down the line, 6 months down the line, if you're even going to be playing this game that long. Most people aren't, sadly, but that is just how it is. Guys, I'm Swole Benji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. I make videos every single day. I read every single comment, so make sure you like the video. Leave a comment. I'll read it. I may not reply to it, but I will read it. I have no life. And with that said, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's video. I've got a Discord link in the description if you want to hang out with me, talk to me. I check it a million times a day. I won't be playing a fresh start server, unfortunately. There's just no real incentive for me to. My character's too far developed. I don't have anyone to play with anyway. But hey, maybe if enough of you join the Discord, maybe we can all play on fresh start. I don't know. With that said, also, if this video helped you out, please consider donating. Leave a monetary donation. You can click the thanks button down below. Your comment will show how much you donated, and if you donate a certain amount, it changes the color of the entire comments box. It's really cool. Also, you can become a channel member. It's $5 a month. It gives you access to private, more personal videos. It's like being subscribed on Twitch, but it's YouTube, and it's way more fun. It's only $5 a month. You get more personal videos of me talking about less video game related things. I've got a pretty useful, like, there's some useful videos on there, not so much for New World, unfortunately, but like if you want to learn how to become a YouTuber, I've got a video on that. There's a playlist in the pinned comment. Check it out. It means the world to me, to everyone that supports me. And if I ever make it really big on YouTube, I will pay all of you guys back, maybe even double. It depends on how successful I become. You know, if I go Mr. Beast mode and make millions of dollars, dude, I'm gonna spoil all of you guys that helped me out early on. That's just the facts. Anyway, with that said, there's a video on the screen right now. You should click it. It's a good video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Take care.